G'day folks. Well, I've had, can you see my head there? Can't quite, I'll lift it up a little bit. I've had a trailer guru come down, guys, and he's given me some incredible information. He's the local trailer business, which is Sunrise Trailer, and I got him up because I bought all the product off him. So I got him up, and another one of his workers came up, and we went over the trailer, and I said the issues that I'm having with it and everything. Anyway, he came up with some incredible ideas. I sort of had a bit of an idea what needed to be done, but he came up with some other ideas, and he could see the problem. They did some measurements and they did the calculations on it, and now we're armed with knowledge and we're going to get it sorted. So I'll show you a bit of I'll show you what needs to be done to correct it, and I've got it. I'm actually going to all new axles, but I'll get to that in a minute. But what needs to be done physically with the trailer to get it to tow right, this is what he suggested. So, like I said, we need new axles. So we're gonna cut these ones out. They're actually, guys, they're bloody buckled. These back ones, the back ones here are actually they're bloody buckled like that, and the tyre or the rims are buckled too. So no wonder the poor trailer's not bloody travelling nice. It always had this tiny little shimmy in it around sort of 100 k's. So if you did 105, it'd sort of go out of it, and if you sort of a whisker under it, it'd be fine. But it just had this tiny little shimmy in it. So it's all going to be pissed off out of this old bloody crap, and we're going to go with the 4 electric brakes. And I'll show you the tyres and the actual stub axle hub too. He's got it there because I've got to do a few measurements. Alright, so what we're going to do, guys, we're going to move this back around 70 millimetres. I've got enough clearance on this wheel arch here to do it. The other side, believe it or not, the wheel, the arch on this actual guard on the other side is slightly different. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of cutting so I can actually move this back slightly. That's okay, it can be done, no big deal. Now, this is a little bit of the cruncher here too, and I sort of never picked it up because I was actually going to move it back the same distance, say 70 mil here. I was actually going to move it back 70 mil, but he suggested to bring the gap a little bit tighter, like this one a little bit closer to the wheel. Now there's a reason for that. Because it's a solid axle, it'll give it a better chance for the wheels to share the load rather than more spread apart. Bring it up a little bit closer and it'll share the load that little bit nicer, he said. So, and it'll help shift the weight back. Okay, so that's what we're going to do there. Now, the next issue is we're going to extend the drawbar. Now, we came up with a fantastic idea here, which, you know, this is what gurus do. Once they know the stuff, they know their craft. I'll just set him up there and I'll explain what's going to happen here. Right, we're going to lengthen this, okay? 800 millimetres, right? But we're actually going to keep this as part of the structural member. I had it envisaged, we cut it all out and then we graft off it. No. What he suggests is cutting it back, I think cutting it sort of back through here, then we put a T-piece in, he recommends, a nice big chunky piece right through there like that. Then we can anchor back out to the corners of the trailer. Okay, this is all staying with some decent members, and then the T-piece will pick that up, and then we join, you know, back up here further. Now, because that's all going to be seen, and this will all be gone obviously, and back up further, we can checker plate, a nice big checker plate floor on it. I thought that was a brilliant idea, because that was something I sort of was a bit concerned about when he said that initially, and then he said, oh, we'll hide all this with the checker plate, the same material as this, and it'll make a nice area for a spare tyre, and it'll hide all that, but it's not compromised. All this part here is all actually adding to it and going to be a lot stronger. So I was wrapped with that idea. So yes, that's what he's going to do. The winch will stay where it is, that won't move. The car will stay in the same position, because now we're going to have an 800mm longer drawbar. We're moving the wheels back 70mm, the rear one, and the front one I think we'll probably go back nearly 120mm to close the gap up. It'll be great. Now I'll show you the tyres and the hub assembly that we're going to use. And I'll explain a little bit about on what legally the trailer will be able to carry. There's actually a little bit of a formula they use for this. Just set him up there, guys. Right, now we're going to a 4-wheel electric brake system. Now this is the sort of the hub assembly they use. I've just got this here because I need to measure up for the length of the axle so they can fab it all up for me. Right, we're going to a 14-inch tyre, okay, and which overall is going to lift the trailer 20mm, which I can live with, that's no big deal. Now, the load rating on these tyres are 850 kilograms per wheel. That equates to 3.4 tonne. Now, because we're running a solid axle, apparently you have to subtract 20% of the load rating of the tyres for legal reasons. Now that brings me back to 2720 kilograms, 1,000. So 2.7 tonne she'll carry. These were only 730 kilogram rating each, so we're going to be well on track, because now the trailer is about a tonne, the car's about 1.5, so about 2.5 tonne capable now. Well, that's what it will be. So we're up to 2.7 legal. If I went to springs, I could get it to 3.4 with the rocker system with the load sharing, but because it's a solid axle, they subtract 20% on it for that reason. But by bringing these wheels closer together, and he recommends about a 25 to 30mm gap between the two. Oh, probably a little bit more, sorry. I think he said 50mm from memory. I'll double check on that one before I go, I can't quite remember, I think it was 50mm. But I know the gappage before was huge, it was ridiculous. So he said just bring them in that little bit to an acceptable level, allowing for, for tyre growth and whatnot. And it's just going to shorten up slightly the axle load. So we're sharing the load a little bit easier. So if it does move up and down, the difference between the front and rear is minimal, and it'll make for a better ride, he reckons. So makes a lot of sense, guys. Like you really sometimes. I was very fortunate that my local business is more than willing to help me on the trailer and work out all the problems that I've had. And he reckons it's going to be awesome once it's all done. It'll travel really nice, especially, he said, with the drawbar being so short. He said it'll be really quite stable. So I'm really wrapped with it all, actually, because it really worried me. I put a lot of work into it, and then finding out that the bloody axle or the hubs were all bloody buckled, especially the back ones. You know, I thought the wheels were actually really buckled, but it turns out the bloody hubs are all crap. So, and it'll be a lot safer too, guys, because now in the car I've got an adjustable, I'll have an adjustable sensitivity dial button, so as I apply the brakes, you can adjust. If I've got no load in it, I can back it right off. If I've got a load with the car in it, I'll get to a point where I feel very comfortable with the braking, dial it in, and then say if she, for some reason, I get a massive crosswind and she gets a bit ugly, you just push the button and the brakes come on without, you don't have to dab on it, and it'll settle the trailer down. So it'll be a great setup, and I'm pretty excited about it all, guys. So now I know where I'm heading with it. Yes, it's costing a little bit more money, but at the end of the day, I should be able to get it passed. It'll be legal, it'll be safe, and that's what I want. I don't want something that's bloody half out of control all the time and just puts you on edge. It's not a nice feeling. Alright folks, well that's what I'm going to do. I'll put some more progress shots up, vids up when I get the axle sort of dummied up in it and we start fabbing up the front drawbar. I'm actually getting the bloke to give me a bit of a hand on it because it was a little bit sort of, I really want his expert opinion, and he's willing to come up after hours sort of thing and give me a bit of a hand with it for a bit of cash money, so it'll be fantastic. Alright guys, well I'll put one up soon and I'll keep you all posted on it, and yeah, it'll be great. And I will put a vid up for that car too, so don't be too far away. Alright guys, catch you later.